Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE, streaming online at kvre.com. I'm Mark Oliver, and sitting in the chair across from me this morning, Mr. Tracy Simpson. Hey, welcome back. You're a lot darker than the last time I saw you, Tracy. You enjoy your vacation? Enjoy your time off?
It was something special, of course, always when you get to be with the family for that time. I actually had to... this was pretty neat. I actually took a screenshot of this, and it was something impressive that everybody that saw it could not believe it. But sure enough, you get those pop-ups, right? And look at my screen time, how much it was down from. Look at that.
Your screen time was down 55% last week. Yeah. How about a good time to unwind and disconnect, recharge, great family time. And I'm sure that the Simpson family Christmas card will be one to remember as it is every year.
Every year, you know what it's going to be of, but got to keep it on the down low for now. But
don't spoil the surprise. We love opening that envelope, and we never know what we're going to get when we open that thing. I'll tell you that much.
Thanks for filling into. You did a great job, great information, and of course, you can handle this. Always informative, Mark. Always got the top of the line stuff, as we will today. What are we starting off with today in the first quarter?
Well, Tracy, we're in the middle of the dog days of summer right now. It's hot outside. There's a lot still going on in the sporting world. And of course, you mentioned family time. We begin today's show with a family story, and probably the biggest family story in professional sports, as we all saw this coming, but now the day is here. LeBron James Jr. has now been drafted into the NBA. Storybook tale. Yep, you all saw it coming. He is a Los Angeles Laker beside his father, LeBron James, with the 55th pick in the second round of the NBA draft. Rob Pelinka makes the call and picks up Bronny James. And now, Tracy, it will happen. Father and son in the NBA for the first time ever.
Mark, and we touched on this a couple of weeks ago before I did leave. How does this happen? I mean, I know that they do certain dynamics to reel around, but was it just because for one thing, it's him doing it for his son? Has he got that much oomph? I guess he's got that much pull in the NBA to where they traded up or traded down or had to wait because you said it was a 56th pick or 55th or whatever. But how did that happen? I mean, surely some other teams may have wanted him or not.
Well, here's the thing, and here's what I really kind of hoped would have happened and did not happen. Listen, he went number 55 in the draft. Anybody with picks 1 through 54 could have grabbed Bronny James, and ultimately, you would have gotten LeBron James with him. LeBron James is a free agent. He's made it very publicly clear that here in the twilight of his career, the last major milestone he wants to play with his son. Anybody else could have grabbed him. A small market team could have grabbed him. Maybe even my Utah Jazz could have grabbed him at 10 or 30 or 29, and really sent things into a tailspin, really made things interesting. Because you got to think, for the small market teams out there, like Utah and Salt Lake City, for example, you're not landing LeBron James. You're not going to. No amount of money that you can throw at him is going to land a superstar of that caliber. And that's what all of these small market teams battle with right now, because these guys, they go for the money, they go for the bright lights and the big stage. And, some of these places across the country simply just don't offer that lifestyle, that way of living. However, long story short, it did not happen. You asked me, how did this happen? Well, it's not the most exciting story out there, but it essentially comes down to LeBron James and Bronny James's agent, essentially threatening the NBA, saying, hey, listen, this is the plan. The Lakers want to take him at 55. Don't you dare draft him before that, or else we're going to make things miserable for you down the road. So
you think this was a marketing tactic or
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Now, did they have the same agent? That's the question. I mean, think about that.
Yes, they do. Yes,
okay.
they do. They have
right.
Yeah, so they have the same representation. It's from an entity called Clutch Sports.
Right.
And, he represents the family. And what I might say is he represents the family quite well also. So behind the scenes, this wasn't, it just so happened, man, and the other part of this, too, is that Bronny James isn't necessarily the 55th best player in this draft. Talked about it on last week's show. This is widely regarded as a weaker draft across the board.
Absolutely.
There wasn't really a clear-cut number one coming into this thing. The Atlanta Hawks get Zachary Rizache, who is the son of a famous French professional basketball player.
Yeah.
But you got to think about it. When you look at Rizache's numbers, he went as the number one overall pick. And typically you associate, when you go number one, you get the biggest contract because you are the best athlete. And the Atlanta Hawks felt like he was the best athlete. But truth be told, Rizache only averages 10 points a game himself. Now, when you look at Bronny James, you don't really know what you're going to get because he had a major a cardiac arrest, a major heart issue,
right,
and had
he fell out.
Well, and he had a procedure done on his heart to allow him to continue playing basketball. He was cleared to go back to basketball, but last year at USC as a freshman, they didn't really utilize him much because he's coming off of cardiac arrest. And of course, he is the biggest NBA prospect in terms of notoriety based on who his father is. So was he utilized very sparingly because they weren't sure how much he could take? Yeah, he averaged 4 points a game for the Trojans of USC. But now he is an NBA draftee. He will play for the Los Angeles Lakers alongside Dalton Knecht, who was also chosen by the organization. And now is really the opportunity where we really get to see, okay, who is this kid and what is he made of? What we do know is that in the draft combine in Chicago, he really showed out with his ability to shoot the three ball, and he's got a lot of the same similar moves that his dad has with getting to the basket and similar play styles in terms of he's not the go-to guy. He will dish it off for a corner three. He's happy to pass the ball. He's basically the mirror image of LeBron James, just much, much younger, 20 years younger now to be exact. So
well, that's my question, though. Okay, I'm going to stop you there because you're saying 20 years younger. Are you telling me, okay, as he didn't have to come into the draft by no means. He still had playing time there. So now we got to switch gears a little bit also here in a little bit. The longevity of LeBron. I mean, could he not have waited another year? Or is that telling us something about LeBron? How many more years is he going to stay in? Because he could have waited another year till he got a little bit more developed.
So that's a big question, and we'll break that down a little bit further in the show because the next question is, okay, we got to this stage. Now what happens next? I think that there's nobody out there that thinks that LeBron James has 5 years left in his NBA career. I just don't think it's realistic. We're at the finish line, and this is the last major milestone. Yes, he'd love to win another championship with the Lakers. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. The West is pretty tough right now. But what we do know is that he is going to get to play with his son, just like we saw with Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. on the baseball diamond, and that we've seen very rarely, very, very rarely in sports. But this is another just huge, iconic moment. It's going to be a big marketing thing, a big media thing, a lot of hype and attention on this. And when we look at Bronny James specifically, he's going to be under the microscope pretty much throughout his entire career based on who his father is. Maybe unfairly, because Bronny James, what he's tried to do in media interviews is really separate himself. And he's been very vocal about, hey, it's cool I get to play with my dad. That's not why I'm here. I didn't come here to play with my dad.
Right.
And he also said, hey, I didn't know that the Lakers were going to pick me. I had no way to know who was going to pick me, but whoever chose me, I was going to go play for them because one way or another, my dad's career is coming to an end. Mine is just beginning, and I'm looking to make my own name for myself, which I think is right. Now, whether he actually gets there or whether he continues to be under the shadow of his dad, who obviously has done remarkable things in the sport, I think there's always going to be comparison there. I think there's going to be a lot of scrutiny there. He's going to be ready for a media firestorm because I think it's coming. Brand new head coach, JJ Redick, who's never coached in the NBA before.
Never.
And now he's in, and there's a lot of questions of, does he deserve this opportunity? Has he really earned it? Is he really good enough? There's a lot of pressure on a 19-year-old young man to step up and succeed. Kind of reminds me from 20 years ago when an 18-year-old young man came from high school, didn't even go to college, and was right there on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the next Michael Jordan. Turns out he did pretty well for himself, but that's not always the case. What is the ceiling for Bronny James is the question. I'll ask you this. When we look at how do we determine success? LeBron James has done many things. He's won 4 NBA championships. He's the all-time leading scorer. He opened a school for his hometown. He went back to Cleveland, the city he was raised, and delivered them an NBA championship. He's done all these storybook moments. But how do we measure success for Bronny James? What could he accomplish that we look at and say, hey, that's a pretty great achievement?
Well, how's he going to top it is one thing, but just like you said, the expectations are there. But how do you top somebody that scored more points than anybody? You've obviously won not just NBA championships, but at different teams. Okay?
I don't think you do.
So
I think it's an unrealistic expectation.
Obviously,
Yeah.
that's where somebody at home and the family members say, look, and has to sit down with him and say, look, you got to turn the media off. And which professionals do, they have to, but in the back right here, he's thinking about the whole thing, and there's somebody, he's not going to be able to step outside. Not that he has been able to anyway with his dad, but he's not going to be able to go to a practice. He's not going to be able to leave a practice and go to a game, go anywhere, go to 7-Eleven.
No.
And there's one on every corner in L.A., and the thing about it is he's going to be scrutinized, and just like you said, under the microscope. The pressure right there alone for an 18-year-old kid 20 years ago, but now for a 19-year-old kid now with here's the difference, Mark. The social media, the platforms now, they didn't have that 20 years ago, and you had a getaway where you could actually go hide somewhat because you had coverage. Don't get me wrong. ESPN was there, all the paparazzi and stuff, but not the social media platforms that everybody has a say in it. Everybody's doing this and doing that. You can never get away.
And it's brutal. It is brutal.
So I think that's going to be play a big part of it. And we'll be talking about more about that. But we got a lot more NBA stuff coming up. We got the draft. We've got trades. We got all kinds of stuff. We got second quarter coming up right here on the tailgate edition of Sports and Shorts. Stay tuned right here at 92.9 and streaming at KVRE.com.
We're back for the second quarter of this week's Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. And for the second quarter of today's show, we stay in the NBA. Free agency is well ablaze, just like the sun outside. Kind of feels like the giant angry sun from the Mario Brothers video game constantly trying to kill you. Things are really hot in free agency right now for the NBA. And we start things off with maybe one of the biggest deals that we've seen, not only of this free agency, but of any free agency. In fact, it is the largest NBA contract in history. And no surprise, it goes to the Boston Celtics' very own Jason Tatum. Tatum signs a 5-year, $314 million deal. Tracy, that is nearly $63 million a year to play basketball. I don't know about you, but I think we messed up somewhere.
You think, Mark? They said this same thing about baseball some years ago, but now all of a sudden, basketball, of course, about the same players, about a number on the team, a little bit fewer. But obviously what they have right now is TV and media and all the other accolades. And we just talked about this a while ago, the social media. You have so many platforms that are in the mix of this. So does that come in the account of it, or is this strictly from the ownership, or does that play a part of it, you think?
I think it all plays a part in it, too. It determines the value of what that individual means to the organization. And to right now, it means everything. You just got championship number 18, and you help deliver a team across the finish line that has had kind of a painful past few years. Mm-hmm. Had some coaching controversy, had some really good teams that almost got there and fell apart at the end stage. That's pretty excruciating. But now they finally had the opportunity against, what was on paper a really good Dallas Mavericks team. They got the job done, and it felt really good. They hang banner number 18. They break that tie with LA, and now they're widely regarded like at least what's in the trophy case of being the best franchise in NBA history. That's what they want. Boston thrives off of its legacy and continuing to build on that legacy. It's the first title since 2008, and Tatum was a huge part of that. He's only 26 years old. He took the Celtics to victory in 5 games over the Mavericks. He averaged 22.2 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, and 7.2 assists per game. He's 6'9". He does remarkable things down low, great on the wing, very versatile, very quick, and just a culmination really of some really good moves made by the Celtics long ago. We talk about that big blockbuster trade with the Brooklyn Nets years and years ago. He's drafted 3rd overall in 2017, and he, alongside teammate Jaylen Brown, who is the NBA Finals MVP, you got to remember, Brown is 1 year removed from signing at that time what was a record extension at that era of the NBA, and now that duo of Tatum and Brown really kind of forms arguably the best wing tandem in the league today. I mean, it showed in the NBA Finals, stopping a red-hot Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. They proved their wealth, and they're going to get that wealth going into the next season.
And of course, he had to go through a series of medical exams and such like that, and all through the deal. And of course, making $60+ million a year, you're going to get that. But the scrutiny now are the Boston fans. We know how Boston fans are.
Oh, yes.
I'm just telling you
Passionate.
right now. Are they going to, and of course, unlimited resources there with the family ties and the business that owns Boston. But I'm just curious, if they come off this year and they have a bad year, what's the Boston fans? Are they going to go, oh? And does the contract carry the weight? And I'm not saying I'm not throwing anything out there, but like you said, you've got not only a tandem, but you got the trio. These days, people they just don't hold together. They don't hold together. You've seen it time and time again, which
we've seen that in recent years. You're right.
And we're going to talk about that in the coming up trades that we're talking about. It just doesn't hold water sometimes. I'm curious to see how that contract's made up and then how it's going to work. And will the people of Boston back him if we don't come out maybe on top next year?
Well, of course, there's a little of uncertainty as well, because the news also coming out in the week that the Boston Celtics are going to sell a majority stake of their organization.
Exactly.
Pretty wild for a team that just won the championship.
Why would you do that, Mark?
Well, I'm sure that there's reasons for it, but maybe the current ownership wants to get out on top,
Mm-hmm.
and ride off into the sunset with their trillions of dollars that they've made.
Yes, literally.
Exaggerating maybe a little bit there, but
no, I don't really. I don't think so.
Hey, did this deal with Tatum literally break the bank for Boston? I don't know. It kind of feels that way.
Well, the TV deals that they're getting, we've already seen illustrated, all right, including football, the top three. I'm going to the top three.
Yeah.
Baseball, football, and basketball. With the TV deals that they all just got, now with the streaming that we've been talking about time and time again, basketball players they're getting a third of the market from that. It doesn't go to the owners. It goes to, so that's how they're available to get these big contracts out. But once again, it doesn't matter if these guys don't stay together as a whole. I know Boston fans, they're like Philadelphia.
Oh, yes.
They don't, trust me, the worm can turn real quick. And I'm a boss. I'm from the old school Larry Bird, even before that, Havlicek, and you can go down the line time and time again, going back for all 18 of them. I wasn't around for all of them, but sure enough, the times have changed. And people get finicky. But and now with the owners, just all of a sudden going to give up the major market value of that? I don't get it. I really don't get that one at all.
You mentioned the times have changed. It's the end of an era for a 13-year superstar out west. After 13 years with the Golden State Warriors, which includes 4 championship rings, Klay is leaving the Bay and heading for the D. Klay Thompson, the free agent guard, signed a 3-year, $50 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks this week. Certainly in search of a team that gives him the best chance at winning another ring. Thompson is coming off of his lowest scoring average in 12 years. However, that scoring average is still 17.9 points per game. And Thompson's role kind of fluctuated a little bit throughout the year and ended not as happy as maybe it started with the Warriors. He ended with a bench role, which really kind of signaled the end of an era for Klay Thompson. His Warrior tenure ends with his place in franchise history cemented. Certainly, the trio of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green accounted for 518 regular season wins, 6th most by a trio of all time. Their 98 playoff wins together is 3rd most in NBA history, and their 4 titles together as a trio are tied with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker for the most by an NBA trio over the past 50 seasons. And of course, the Warriors wished him well in a statement on Monday, saying they look forward to retiring the the Warriors' number 11 jersey. But Klay Thompson is out, and he's headed to the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, and I think that you were talking about the three of them. I mean, Draymond, look how much trouble this whole season has been.
I could spend a whole segment on Draymond Green.
And we will. I mean, obviously, he doesn't even know what his future is right now, of course.
No.
And so that's us. But then you got to go back. Okay. He was that one that came off, you could give him the six-man award a lot because in his latter part of the years, that's what he was coming off the bench a lot because he had injuries, Klay did.
Significant injuries.
But when he came off, he always lit it up. Yeah, always lit it up.
You're right.
And is this going to take the pressure off of the other two at Dallas? Because I still think he can light it up. But here's the other key factor. He's a rebounder too, though. He is significant. Now, he's not going to go down and bulldog anybody, but he knows how to follow up his shots. And if you look at the course of his years playing, not just the three that he would make, but he would follow up. He's that perimeter shooter, too, that gets the rebound and puts it back up from 13 feet. And I think if there's anything that maybe Dallas needs was that kind of player that not only can play in the paint, but also can back out and nail it. Because the other two couldn't, they were the 1-2 punch all year long. But against Boston, that's what they lacked. I don't know. Is he that third part of the leg?
He absolutely is the third there. He's got a veteran presence. He's not in his prime necessarily anymore, but he still averages 17.9 points per game. He's going to be a huge fit over in Dallas. And hats off to Mark Cuban and Jason Kidd because they went out and they went to their fan base and said, hey, we were so close. But that's not it. We're not done yet. Look what we're going to do. And they go grab ultimately what I think is the biggest free agent signing in the West, period, getting Klay Thompson and sniping him away from what I might add, a lot of teams wanted Thompson on their squad. He would have been a good fit for what he can do on multiple rosters. But when it came down to it, which organization put him in the best position to win a championship? Maybe the one that just got to the NBA Finals. I know that there was a lot of attention from the Los Angeles Lakers. He was LeBron's first phone call whenever free agency hit. Said, hey, man, this is our moment. Well, it wasn't their moment because Thompson, not necessarily pursuing the money, he's pursuing the ring. Just like what most of these star athletes are doing, it's about the accolades. It's not about the money. And it's going to be quite a trio with Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and now Klay Thompson. Dallas will certainly be a very formidable foe in the West. Not that they weren't already, but I'm very excited to see what happens here.
Mark, you say that, though, and we've seen this merry-go-round several times now with all the key players in the league. We saw Oklahoma bust up and everybody go somewhere else. And,
yes.
And then even Houston, and we know where those guys are now. But not all the time when you do this trade, you know what his potential was? Is the dynamics going to be different from where he was out there?
Yes, I think so, because it's different. You're used to one organization, and listen, Steve Kerr is going to go down as one of the best NBA coaches ever.
Absolutely.
Another one of those player coaches, just like Jason Kidd. So it's going to be a little bit different because I believe that playing with Kyrie Irving is different. Much like playing with Draymond Green might require a bit of a growth, a learning curve to being able to coexist on the floor. Kyrie Irving is that in a different way. So will there be some adjustments to be made? Yeah, this is not the NBA Finals favorite on paper just because of who they are. I've learned to know that I got to believe it in order to I got to see it in order to believe it.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, that's what you can believe in the second quarter. Coming up the third quarter, we've got more. Trust me, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here at 92.9 and streaming at KVRE.com.
Welcome back to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE. He is Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. And Tracy, as we move to the third quarter of today's show, let's tackle an interesting topic, kind of a fun one, themed around the holiday of 4th of July. Now, Tracy, there's a lot of debate across sports fans across the globe on what is it that makes a sport a sport. You see a lot of things that uptick in recent years, like esports and video gaming, competitive video gaming, and you can train for it and you can win money and play in these tournaments. There's, obviously there's a large debate out there. Is cheerleading an actual sport? I think correct answer. Yes, by the way. And even marching band, things that you have to train for and you enroll in competitions for in order to find success, win trophies, be the best at whatever you're doing. Here's a sport that is a bit odd, but really enjoyable to watch. The Nathan's hot dog eating contest. It is an American staple centered around the 4th of July. And of course, there's absolutely a GOAT at this also. His name is Joey Chestnut. But this year, he will not be participating in the hot dog eating contest over on Coney Island in New York. And
something strange. Hey, that's going to be strange not to see him on the platform.
Well, kind of politics kind of get in the way on this.
No, a whole lot. Didn't kind of. It absolutely played a part of it.
So here's the deal. Joey Chestnut, certainly the best to ever do it at competitive hot dog eating. But now, due to his partnership with Impossible Foods, which is a rival company offering alternative meat hot dogs, he is not allowed to participate in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. So I guess good news for all you other athletes out there who are particularly great at stuffing your face. Someone else is going to win this thing this year, but the 16-time champion will not be defending his crown this year. And he says he's really disappointed about the opportunity. He will be participating in a different hot dog eating contest instead down in El Paso, Texas. It's called Pop Goes the Fort, and he'll be competing against U.S. military soldiers in a 5-minute hot dog eating competition at Fort Bliss in El Paso. Tracy,
this is not.
This
right.
Your time to shine. It's your time to shine. Book your ticket. Get you a plane.
I'm gone. I'm there.
Go to Coney Island. Get you some Conies.
I'm there. Not much on the buns, though. Not much on the buns.
Well, neither are they.
They soak them, and I'm like, what? Just roll with it. And what do they soak them in? That's a whole nother story.
Well,
that's all. There's a trick to it. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
I've been in a few. I've been in a chicken eating contest. I've been in a wing contest, actually, that I won at Buffalo Wild Wings 2 years in a row. But not just strictly the hot dogs. Now, that's something that I'm looking into right now.
Why am I not surprised?
Got the trophies to
You got enough on your plate already, literally and figuratively. Stop putting more on your plate.
I like good combo there. But this is something, and it all falls back to, like you said, marketing. Knowing that Nathan's has put this up for years and years and years now. Why did they not go out there and offer him? Did they get outbid? Did they get overturned? Did they lose their friggin' mind is what the question is, Mark. What the heck did Nathan's, what were they thinking about when they lost one of the biggest pulls of their whole marketing career?
Well, here's the deal. The Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest is owned and sanctioned by MLE. That's Major League Eating. Can't believe I'm talking about this on a sports show, but I am. It's timely. It's noteworthy. But the MLE said in a statement this week that it said it went to, quote, great lengths to allow Joey Chestnut to participate in the event. A report from the New York Post also said that Chestnut received a 4-year, $1.2 million offer to continue participating in the contest, which I might add he's won 16 out of the past 17 years. Mm-hmm. But then all of a sudden the talks fall through. What they didn't say, however, I'm sure, is, hey, we're going to give you $1.2 million over 4 years, but you're going to have to cut ties with that other company, which I'm assuming has ponied up the money to give him a little bit more and a little bit more opportunity. And this is kind of cool. It comes down to marketing and public relations, right? Because no, he's not in the big event over on Coney Island in New York. No, he's going to be down at El Paso, Texas. But, it's with the troops and it's with the military and it's got a better public image. And it is, all eyes will still be on him because he's broken away. So it's a really smart move by this Impossible Foods is the name of the organization which has signed him on. But
out of Texas.
Of course. Everything's bigger in Texas, right?
Yeah.
But somehow Joey Chestnut doesn't get bigger when he does this. He holds the world record of downing 76 hot dogs in a 10-minute span. And last year, he won the 2023 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest with 62, a little bit removed from
He
his
wasn't
76.
pushed. He wasn't pushed, though.
Where do you fit 76 hot dogs in your stomach? I don't care who you are. Where do you fit because they don't chew these things. Not really. I've watched this. And,
No, it goes down.
where does it
just
go?
goes.
It's like the sword-swallowing magicians. Where does it go?
You just learn to work it. That's what you do, so to speak. I'm not going to go into that any further. Don't want to give away no secrets of the trade. But as it is,
Yeah, because you're about to join MLE.
I'm
going to be doing this show solo.
I'm doing my plane fare right now.
Get off your
matter of
phone.
fact. I'm on the plane. Delta has already got me. I'm leaving here and going directly to Atlanta. From Atlanta to direct up to New York. Okay, LaGuardia. That's the cheapest one I could find right now. But now get this though. The guy that he even came close to him, Jeffrey Esper. And I mean, even came close. And that was when you were remarking the 62 that he ate, which was way down from his standard 70. But he wasn't even pushed. He sat there and watched Esper struggle to get 42. And I'm sitting here watching this the whole time going, what's he doing? He was backing off and actually looking at everybody. And just from looking at the plates, because he takes it's almost like a quarterback looking to see out in the defense, what are they playing against him? You know,
exactly.
What are they coming up? And he's just looking both back and forth because nobody's even come close. He can count the number of dogs and the plates on the whole viewing chart. And he knows where he's sitting at it. And he literally sat there. And when he got to 62, he saw the other guy was struggling at 40. And the timing, they got this huge clock right there. It's time right now. It's a digital deal, blah, blah, blah. It's not a Rolex, but you get the gist. But anyway, he's sitting there looking, and he actually sat there and wiped his mouth and cleaned himself up before the clock had even
and just done. Hey,
because I'm done.
Come get me.
Yeah,
you want me? Come get me.
And then to top it, he drank a beer. Okay, so he could have done 70, but now in being practically this is the new guy, Esper, that's going to try to come up. And he's got matter of fact, Vegas has him with the leading odds right now. Okay. All right. So that's a biggie right there. Think about it on that way. So as it is right now, yes, marketing comes in strategy once again. And it's hard to believe this, but here's what I'm going back on. Only 1 point, whatever it was.
1.2 million.
Right. Come on. Really? I mean, how much do you have to buy an Alka-Seltzer afterwards?
You know, that's a good point. When you look at the NFL, exorbitant contracts, huge contracts. Why? Mm-hmm. Well, because there's a lot of physical damage being done to these players' bodies. Now, there may be some out there that argue with me that hot dogs it's fine. All the cardiologists out there, I don't know. I have a different perspective on things in recent years. Let's just be honest with you. But there has to be some sort of irreparable damage being done to your body eating 76 hot dogs 1 year, in a 10-minute window, okay? Like, the sponsorships alone, I mean, you could get any toilet manufacturer and sponsor you, you know what I'm saying? And, so like 1.2, I'm sorry, okay. That's a low offer.
But that's just where okay, all right, and here's where the marketing comes in. That's just from that particular company. Now then, he does about 6 to 8 competitions a year, and the money prize on that can be anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000.
Yeah.
All right, and of course he wins every one of them. So you tack on another $200,000 a year on top of that, which people are going, but what is? You're eating hot dogs. What do you do the other 29 days of the month?
How do you train for this?
Oh, there's ways. There's ways. Okay.
I mean, other than just eating, I guess it's the same thing. Like with it really in comparison to swimming, perhaps, where you really have to kind of overexert your body in short bursts of time, and then allow for healing. And boy, we're talking about what defines a sport. Well, I know that there's a lot out there that like competitive video games. Come on, man, that's a stretch. No, this is a stretch. Like literally, this is a stretch. You're stretching your stomach out for competitive eating. But you talked about before. You said you've done stuff like this before. I'm sure like local competitions at restaurants. Places like this offer things like this all the time. Eat the pizza in 20 minutes and it's free. I don't see a way at all that I could ever do this. Like, even if I really, really wanted to, I don't know that I could get past like 4 hot dogs. Well, like, how do you do 76? How do you do this?
Hey, you've
done this before.
You work on it. And of course, a lot of it has to do with mouth structure and stuff, of course, and the dynamics of this. But I'm going to tell you what, in other countries, like Japan, where they take it serious, where they have
Yeah.
hot dog eating their contest, sushi eating contest. They have obviously noodle eating contest, but it's serious over there. And this is going to lead Joey into going to other places. You know, you talk about competition. Yes, it is, because it's very competitive. And where he's only going to net about $2 million or something with all of his pros, everything all combined, you know, he's not still the biggest around. Kobayashi,
Right.
okay, is
Yes.
one of the biggest, because he's not only here, but he's international. He's world. And that's what's going to open up, because this hot dog manufacturer that now has signed him is very competitive in the world market. And Nathan's is too, don't get me wrong, but they're going to push him into going into other challenges. Australia has a big one. Of course, Britain has a huge one. No telling what Germany has with, you know, over there, and Japan and so many other countries. But that's where this market is leading to him. They're hoping that, and he's in the contract, he's going to get a percentage of it also. So what he pulls. And then now here's the biggest structure plan that we have to think about, Mark. Do they get any TV marketing? We'll talk about that in the next segment, Mark, okay? We'll talk about that. Fourth quarter coming up here at Sports and Short Tailgate Edition at 92.9 and streaming at kvre.com. Here, Mark, here's another hot dog. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE. Fourth quarter upon us. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Time to take a look at some of the local stories around the region and the counties. And we start things off with Majestic Park in beautiful Hot Springs. Of course, we talked about on last week's show the Great Arkansas Travelers Youth Foundation camp with so many youngsters turning out for the free camp with the Arkansas Travelers. Can't say enough for Lance Restum and all the guys for making time to really help grow the games of baseball and softball for the youth in our community. And more great things are happening at Majestic Park coming up this week, July 5th through 7th. The FASA Fast Pitch Softball Tournament going on out at Majestic Park. So if you would like to go out and see the brightest stars of tomorrow here in Arkansas, they're playing at Majestic Park all weekend long. And some big news coming also for Majestic Park is the creation of a collegiate softball league. So I don't know if you know this already, Tracy, but in the off season, you know, where high school's not really in effect, college is not really in effect, there's baseball still happening at Majestic Park on the collegiate level. It's called the Natural State Collegiate League, which calls Majestic Park home over on Babe Ruth Field. And now the owner of the NSCL, Evan Ham, announced this week that the league is officially launching its softball counterpart. So now the Diamond State Collegiate Softball League for college softball players will begin next summer, much like the NSCL. The DSCL will begin with 4 teams, and it's looking to recruit from local high school talent and also local college talent, because the cool thing about these leagues is that you can have a team already and you can join this league for additional development, and it doesn't count against your eligibility in the sport. So you see a lot of athletes that, you know, I just graduated high school and I've already committed to this university. I start there in the fall, but I'm going to use this to bolster myself and get myself a little bit more playing experience. And also it kind of helps keep athletes fresh whenever, you know, one college season ends and you got the off season and you don't just want to sit around. You want to stay moving and stay focused and stay active. This league is going to allow for that. And we've seen some really good things from the NSCL, and they've done very well to add kind of a historic local hometown approach to it. You know, you've got teams like the Arlingtons and the Gamblers and the Bathers, and they try to keep it with a Hot Springs historical theme. And Ham did say that for the softball side, they are going to continue that same level of naming trope, and they're not going to duplicate any of the names. So they're looking for ideas right now on what to name some of the new softball programs that will exist within the Diamond State Collegiate Softball League. But ultimately, Ham cites that there's really a discrepancy out there, Tracy, and it's been like this for years, between the number of opportunities offered to collegiate baseball players versus collegiate softball players. And hey, softball is one of the biggest rising sports all across Arkansas, and it's really an opportunity to give someone an opportunity. And of course, Majestic Park is the perfect place for it.
No doubt. And I was talking about this earlier this week about just an absolute blessing to have this facility. And I know we talk about it, Mark, but I don't think people, especially maybe some of our new listeners and such, have any fathom of what this place really looks like. A buddy of mine was up from Florida. My college roommate that I played ball with for years, and he's a big baseball. I mean, huge baseball. Coming from the city of St. Louis, he actually worked at Busch Stadium for 30 years, and has got some stories, which we're going to have Felix on the show at some point because he has got some stories. Unbelievable meeting all these stars coming through there and through the years. But that was one of his bucket lists when he come to Hot Springs. He hadn't been to Hot Springs in 25 years. He said, Tracy, not only do I want to go see all the hot water and blah, 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 when he came home with me during, all the Thanksgivings and stuff. But also he said, people down in Florida, people up in St. Louis, they talk about this majestic park. And of course, one of the reasons is, of course, you've got the huge statue of Babe Ruth out front, one of 3 in the world. But he had no idea of he goes, this is nice. This is a gym. Unbelievable. He said as he walked through there, and of course I had to give him the highlight of when I played there 100 years ago and what this field was all about. And y'all have heard the war, the war stories and such. But then all the plaques that are out there also, as you read them, and then all of a sudden the history starts just resonating in you. And of course he knew all of it, and everything, including the one that's got Babe Dickerson on there. People don't realize, yes, she was, a track star, but people don't realize she was a big baseball player too. And so all the visual accolades out there of all the plaques, and then reading them, we couldn't just walk through there. We had, and so I guess what I'm saying is people need to realize that it's history in the making, because this came together as a community effort, literally. And with the few help of some major donors and such like that. But it's unbelievable what it does for not only the baseball side of it, but also for the youths and everybody else. Your kids have enjoyed it so far, my nephew and such, but also for the city of Hot Springs. And here we go back again, marketing end of it. But it was such a bright spot when he came to visit, to take him over there and just walk through it. And it's an unbelievable site. If you're new to the area, I encourage you to go. You don't have to make an appointment or anything. You can literally pull up in the parking lot. The gate's open right there, and go through and take a picture and just go take it all in, is what I'm saying. It's unbelievable structure that they have. It was built perfect. And from what I've participated in and what I've seen, and I'm sure you will, Mark, it's an absolutely gem in our city, and proud to be a part of it too.
I know, just on a personal level, the memories that my family and I have made, whether it's me broadcasting National Park Nighthawk baseball and softball games and seeing some of the biggest moments in program history happen on those fields, to my own children playing on those fields and their leagues and winning big games and big moments. And we were at the Travelers Youth Camp last week and getting to meet MILB superstars that are going to be playing for the Seattle Mariners on the next level and getting autographs. These are huge moments. And I'm just one of many who are having these memories made, these core memories that are going to last a lifetime. And we're always going to be talking about, man, you remember that time? Well, that happened at Majestic Park. And these things would not necessarily have happened had this great facility not existed as well. Just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Majestic Park, we go to Champion Christian College, which we haven't talked about a whole lot on this show, but Champion Christian College has teamed up with Cutter Morningstar High School to offer a youth basketball camp coming up July 15 through 17, located at Eagle Arena at 2801 Spring Street here in Hot Springs. The camp welcomes youngsters in grades 1 through 8 to develop their basketball skills with sessions led by college players and coaches. Registration, $75 per camper, and if you're going to sign up more than one, it's $60 for each additional camper after that first $75. Campers are going to get a t-shirt, a professional individual photo of them taken, and top performers receive certificates and medals. Great partnership between Champion Christian and Cutter Morningstar. I don't know if you've seen Eagle Arena. Well, my children have played in the new Eagle Arena quite a few times, and I have nothing but great things to say, not only about that facility, but all the great new upgraded facilities at Cutter Morningstar High School.
Oh, every time I go by there, I just think, and I had this conversation with Miss Anderson, the superintendent, some 3 or 4 years ago, and this was, if you recall, same as Mountain Pine, numbers were dwindling, and teams were like, they were struggling, everybody, and thus went back to the 8-man and such like that. And then all of a sudden, the light went off, and she got to work on it. And sure enough, through grants and other things that situation here as far as the leadership capability of our community came together. And next thing you know, we got turf over there, and looking from Highway 70 over there, every time I go by and I'm honking. And of course, the coach, he's like, "Who's that nut in the white truck?" But sure, I mean, what a success story there in itself. And then, like you said, when you see that big eagle on the front of the gym over there, and it just makes the presence known. Was able to go to a basketball tournament where my nephew that plays over at Glen Rose, he came over in a tournament, very well received, but an unbelievable structure there, what they've done, through just the community. And it's a success story, Mark, just same as Majestic and such, but a great way for the kids to get back. We've already talked about Cutter, so many different kids over there that are doing well, and also now going to the next level. And we talked about those. So great advancements there and in the surrounding area, Garland County.
Yeah. So once again, the youth basketball camp held by Champion Christian College and Cutter Morningstar High School, July 15 through 17 at Eagle Arena. Registration is $75 per camper. If you're signing up more than one, it's $60 for each additional camper. And for more information, including how to register, you can go to champion.edu. One other quick one to get to you this week, Tracy. Lake Hamilton superstar Ty Robinson showed out in the high school basketball all-star game at the University of Central Arkansas in Conway. No surprise, Robinson, the recent Wolf graduate, takes home all-star MVP honors in the basketball game. Of course, getting acclimated to that court over there in the purple and gray, because he's going to be a UCA Bear next season, playing for new head coach John Schulman. Robinson's absolutely a superstar for the Wolves. Averaged 26 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, all while maintaining a 4.2 GPA. You love to see those local success stories showing out on the big stage, on the statewide stage. And now with the University of Central Arkansas Bears, my college alma mater, he's going to do great things next season.
Mark, and we'll be talking about this before you know it. We've got coming up football, more football. We got the All-Star football game coming up, of course, and we're going to be talking about that a lot. But one last thank you, I guess, and on a sad note, Hall of Famer slugger Orlando Cepeda passing away this last week, and one of those guys that you could depend on. He was one of those that played first base like no other, the baby bull, as they call him. But from St. Louis to eventually out in San Francisco and such, he was a Hall of Famer, and my goodness gracious, made a major impact. And when you think of baseball starting, not so much, but now Puerto Rico and all those Dominican Republicans he was one of the ones that led the charge back in the late 60s and passing away. So prayers and thoughts to his family, Mark. What a great player.
Absolute trailblazer. But you know the saying, Tracy, legends never die.
Exactly. But we've got to stop it for here, man. I appreciate you welcoming back, and hey, for carrying the load while I was gone. And we'll be back next week, won't we?
Yeah, start of high school football. Get ready. We're bringing the coaches to you for the first scoop on their teams. The summer previews begin next week. You can catch us every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. right here on 92.9 KVRE. For Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. This has been Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition.